At long last, my friends, it's time to talk about Bathsheba. Let's get on topic. Hey everybody, it's Thomas with Get Out Arizona, and you are watching another great episode of Bike Showcase on Toolbox Topic. I'm here once again with my co-host Brandon Van Leeuwen. Brandon, how the hell are you?
Doing good. Good morning.
Nice. You feeling good after the vacation?
Feeling all right.
Recharged, ready to go?
I don't know about all that, but you know, vacations. You need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah, towards the end sometimes.
Exactly true.
Yeah, and then he's got to come back to me, guys. So it's just, it's
all right.
never ending for this guy. So, and we're at the Trek Bicycle Store of West Phoenix once again, because where the cool kids hang out, huh? Brandon and his team, and me. And today we are talking about the Gen 5 rail from Trek. This is a 9.8 with SRAM Access GX.
Looks like you got some use out of her already.
Yes, her name is Bathsheba. I've been riding the hell out of her. Now, originally, let's not stand on ceremony. We tried recording this a couple times.
When she was new and pretty still.
And
well, she's still
dirty.
pretty, but
Yeah, she's still pretty. But
she's a little, yeah, all right.
Haas, Skyline, friggin' white tanks, going to Flagstaff this weekend, which it'll be already past. You'll see those trail videos. Guys, 160 mils of travel front and back. An 850 watt hour battery, so the range extender, kind of a luxury that you don't need, but Rick, if you want to ride 75 miles, you're going to do it with this bike. Absolutely amazing. And this Gen 5 motor, which we will talk more, this is the Bosch CX line, okay, is quiet. It's not drive-by quiet like Beatrix, okay, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it is extremely quiet. There's such a huge difference, a leap in performance from that Gen 3 that I had with the Rail 3, yeah, to this right now. And we'll get into all that stuff here in just a second. Brandon, before we get started, and you're going to be pointing everything out, is there anything you want to talk about this bike just in broad strokes before we get into the minutia?
I think we should just get into the minutia.
The minutia. Almost sounds like a dirty movie on Cinemax after dark. All right, guys, I'm going to grab the camera. We're going to get after this thing and talk all about it.
Cool.
All right, Brandon, even though you don't have to do the transition for me, baby. It's tradition.
Okay, 2, 3, 1, and no reason for that. But all right, let's start off again. Rail 9.8 GX AXS. Carbon version on this one. Let's start with the frame on this one. This bicycle is obviously dual suspension, 160 millimeters of travel, front and rear.
Yep.
If I start from the front of the frame and we start working our way back, there are some major upgrades for this gen. And the first one is you do have the ability to, if we're going to go from front to back, here's your headset. Of course, it's a tapering headset from 101.8 to 1.5. But this one gives you the ability to aftermarket put a headset that you can adjust the head tube angle with by 1 degree. So if you like to tinker, if you like to go to Snow Summit or some downhill stuff and you want to get a little bit longer wheelbase, a little bit more rake, you can do that with this headset. It is compatible for that.
Right.
Beautiful Trek OCLV carbon frame on there. You know kind of how I feel about carbon these days, but I do always appreciate how nice and sexy the lines are.
Oh, yeah.
You know, unless welds are beautiful welds, I'd rather not have welds, I guess. So nice OCLV carbon on here. As we work our way back, a big change on this frame is we now have the Rib 2.0 system on here. So if you remember on the last generation, the battery, I don't know if it was on the starboard or their
No, it was on the side. It popped out.
Yep, so on starboard side, you had that battery that popped out. Now, with the use of just a hex key on this side,
Which is really nice.
the battery will pop out the bottom. So this is supposed to solve some of the issues that the last generation rail had with connectivity, the battery potentially coming loose. Hopefully that's resolved in this one. And if you want to not have the hex wrench option on there, you can put a key core inside this frame that is available on this bike.
Now, what is a key core?
Oh, you can put it just like a key inside this instead of the hex wrench.
Okay. So maybe for security purposes, if someone was worried about battery theft, we could swap that out.
Yeah,
gotcha.
exactly.
Okay.
And I believe that same key core is available off of the last generation. So you can just buy that one and put it right into this frame and it should be compatible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the handlebars first and all that stuff. We'll go back
all right.
a little symmetrically.
Okay, very good. Cockpit on this one, I like this one. You know, we talked about your EXE, how nice and beautiful and sexy that one is.
Yeah.
This one is more practical.
Yes.
Still a nice cockpit. I still probably wouldn't mess with this unless I needed to change my stem.
Right.
But at least it gives you the option to do that. I tend to like to put a little bit longer stem on my bikes.
Right.
And you can do that very easily on this bike for not very much money. It comes with a beautiful carbon handlebar on there by Bontrager. I think it's nice 35 millimeter clamp, nice and robust.
Yes, it certainly is.
As you always do, and as I think is appropriate, you put your ergon grips on there.
Yep. Yep, it helps out. It doesn't solve all the issues, but it certainly helps out with the
totally
with
personal,
the problems that I have.
But I get it because the ones that come on this bike aren't particularly inspiring or very comfortable. So what do we always say? It's like the touch points of your bike. Those are the things that you want to upgrade first. And we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
You have your AXS in the cockpit, your AXS shifter pod.
Yep.
Super cool.
Now,
super
I will
clean.
say, as far as this shifter pod, I don't like it because I can't swing it up. The one I have on the
because all
the Fuel EXE.
To your brake lever.
Yeah, so it's really been hard to get this in a good position for me, and I've settled here. And so I wish there was an aftermarket piece that I can get.
I believe there should be.
This or
you just
swing.
It just wouldn't be as clean.
Right.
You'd have a separate clamp for that, which you can certainly do.
Right.
That will give you more versatility, but they're going for integration here and a nice clean look.
Well, and that's something that we'll have to look into, definitely. Okay. And then I'll point out some of the things that I've already added to. Brandon was gem and looked up the blender adapter before he left for vacation.
It's a dual base, right?
It's a dual base. So I have the spot for my outbound light and I have the spot for my bike computer. And then this is from Quadlock, which we'll be talking more extensively about them here in the coming weeks. This was great because it just mounted right under the cap. There was no special way to mount it. And so now I have everything integrated the way I want to and a very nice streamline. So I'm very happy about that. Nice. And the brake, gorgeous. The little micro shifter here for the
very discreet
thing. Yeah.
Very discreet. So you can scroll through your functions on here. They're using their proprietary clamp for this, for also to hold on to your dropper lever. And let's talk about, while we're up here, these new brakes by SRAM. I have not been a SRAM fan for brakes in the past, but these feel nice. They have a nice feel. They feel real positive, I guess. They don't have a ton of modulation like I don't like from past generations of SRAM brakes, but the finish is nice. They operate really nice, tons of power. We'll look more at the calipers and the rotors as we go to the back of the bike.
Yeah, definitely. They're the nicest SRAM brakes that I've actually used.
They're really, really good. I'm very impressed with them.
Yep.
So where do we leave off? We're kind of halfway through the battery.
We're coming down the frame.
All
yep.
right.
Here's where the range extender would go. It's nice because you have an integrated piece that makes it easy, nothing special or fancy. And in lieu of a water bottle, that's where you would put it.
Yep, for sure. As we mentioned before, it is a 160 millimeter travel bike, front and rear. We'll talk about suspension here in a moment. But let's talk about a couple of things that you can do to customize this frame a bit. The first thing is we have a Amino Link. This isn't particularly special because a lot of bikes have this now. But if you wanted to, you see the low and high settings on here. Again, by adjusting that, by just reversing the nut on the back side here, you can lower the bottom bracket height and adjust the head tube angle by, I believe, half a degree.
Right.
So again, just a little bit to make the bike a little more stable under more advanced, more technical conditions. Another piece that you can tinker with if you like to is right here. This is going to kind of adjust your progression. I don't know if these things, if I would feel them, I'm not in tune enough. I'm sure there are people out there that are, but again, by reversing the nut on this, you could manipulate the progression of your shock for, again, more technical trails.
Right.
Carbon fiber all the way to the back. They gave you this little fender on here. I'm still torn.
Okay, so now that I've had
it's removable.
Right.
It's removable. So
now I will give you guys my 2 cents now.
Okay, do it.
Never had fenders on a bike. When Brandon and I first did the bike showcase, I'm like, I gotta take those off. First ride, I'm out in the white tanks, friggin' rock. I hear it flip up underneath.
Okay.
And it would have potentially smacked me in the face. And it did stop a piece of cactus. No, I'm not doing the whole look too for flinching. It did stop a small piece of cholla, jumping cactus, from flipping up. So I think I'm gonna keep it just based on those two things.
Sure.
You know?
All right. Fair enough. Move them back, full carbon fiber, swing arm on this guy, or our rear triangle. We do have on here, like all advanced Trek dual suspension bikes, Trek's proprietary ABP. I am a firm believer in ABP. And what this is that the
Like the monkeys were, I'm a believer.
That's exactly. The last pivot on the suspension runs concentrically through the rear hub. So I promised I was going to have a better definition for this one when we came back to redo this video. But we have suspension stacking and brake jacking if the pivot were to be anywhere in front of the rear hub. We're going to have another video on this so we can explain this a little bit better. But trust me, it works. If the suspension works completely in all braking conditions, that's something that I noticed. That's something that I feel is really a Trek exclusive. That's good job. Two thumbs up on that. They did a great job.
But for now, we're just going to call it something DOO economics.
Economics.
Yeah.
Voodoo economics. Come around this side. You got your switchblade on here.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that the switchblade can be removed. Obviously, it'll remove your rear through axle, which is, of course, a Boost 148 by 12. But this can also be removed and used on your front through axle as well. So be advised of that.
Right.
They could have done without putting a kickstand mount on this bike, but whatever.
It's just like, okay.
Whatever. All right. Coming around here, this is your port.
Yep.
For charging. I think this is one of the nice ones. I think before it was like a rubber.
Yeah.
Like a little rubber piece that didn't really work very well. But this has a nice spring action. It kind of reminds me of having my Motorola flip phone. You just want to do this all day. Just flip it. It's got a real nice action. And it looks like it's pretty weather resistant as well.
Good stuff.
So,
yeah, no, I do
cool.
like that.
You can't see this, but here are some of the routing cables and things. The beautiful thing they did, and thank you so much, Trek, excellent innovation. They now made everything routed inside.
Which is
so
nice.
I don't have to pull routing cables through before I replace hoses and cables, even though there's no cables because you're AXS. But now you should be able just to feed through to get your dropper cable, to get your hydraulic hose lines. They should go right through with the advance of the carbon frame.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah. I do like those cranks too, by the way. They're actually, SRAM did a really good job with those cranks.
I think so too.
And I'm not necessarily the fashion before function, but they're pretty dope.
Yeah, let's talk about your components while you led on to that.
Well, and I was going to come back here. So here, I'm going to point this out, and then I'm going to do the focus here. So we've got the Shran Transmission.
Yep.
Now, before I bought this highfalutin bike, I always had the battery, and then I carried an extra battery because you never know. Something could happen, and just way I always knew I can get in or out. This one is hardwired. The first time, I'm like, man, the shifting ain't working because I'm trying to downshift it and everything like that. He's like, oh, you got to turn the bike on. It's hardwired. So, which I think is a great tool, a great innovation, but I also like the fact that I could pop this dummy battery out and put a regular battery in, and it's going to work just fine. So carrying that extra battery still is going to get me out of a jam.
And please carry an extra battery if you're on that longer trip, because if this thing runs out, you have no shift, and now you're toting, let's get the weight in there, a 53.3 pound bike.
Yeah.
Just using manpower.
Yeah.
So either be real conscientious of your battery life or carry that spare battery with you. So, but beautiful drivetrain on here. This is the GX version of it.
Yep.
Of course, you get that 1052 cassette on here. Getting a little dirty now, but the cassette is really beautiful, really light on this one. What I really want to point out is this is probably the best looking e-bike main chainring that I have seen on an e-bike.
Yes.
Again, it's getting a little dirty. That's all right. But when
That's what they're made for.
When this thing was brand new, whoo, she was shiny and really pretty. And I think that the machined spider on there is really cool. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, just like your wife before she had kids and turned 50. She was beautiful once. I'm joking, guys.
That's why I never had kids.
Love it.
The GX crank arms, they are nice. Those XOs are really, really nice. Those XOs are beautiful. But these will do. You're going to beat the crap out of them in Arizona anyways. And I see, again, another good thing that you've done here, Thomas. You've replaced those horrible, horrible stock pedals with these. These are your crank brother ones. They're ones that you like. I've never ridden them. But if you like them, cool. You needed to do something. because
Those
those
stock ones
things
sucked.
they were
Yeah.
not cutting it.
It was one of the things we did show in the first video. You guys don't really need to see those. And so here's the reason why I choose the Crank Brothers.
Okay.
The stamp ones, they're inexpensive, they're composite, but they're very, very durable. And so I have yet to have one fail me on the trail, you know, pedal strike, anything like that. So I've just straight up been happy with them. So why not? Why not stay with what you know?
Right on.
Unless there's a company out there that wants to send me some pedals to try, you know, we're always open to something like that.
Where else are we going? Let's go to the suspension now.
Yeah, let's
How about
definitely
that?
talk about the suspension.
Okay, so obviously a big bike. They gave you a big shock and a big fork for this one. What we got here is the Performance Elite Float X with 2-position dampener, and you see it does have the piggyback on there
Right.
for some added volume. It's a big fork, or excuse me, it's a big shock. It probably needs to be tuned in more for you, Thomas, I'd imagine. But...
It does. So when we first tuned it, we made it squishy, and now I need to make it firm.
Okay.
Well, and here's the thing, a little bit more firm because I'm bottoming out
Okay.
when I shouldn't be. So
does
I'm sorry,
this-
guys, I'm moving the camera.
So is this thing on like this when you're done?
Close to it.
Well, that's pretty good. But we can make it firmer if you want to.
Just a little more firmer
sure.
because what's happening is I'm pedaling.
That's cool because you're using all your suspension travel at least.
Yes, absolutely. Just a hair firmer because what happens is when I pedal, it wants to flex.
So, okay.
And then I've had some minor pedal strikes where I shouldn't have just pedaling. So
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Let's move on to the front fork, and then
Absolutely.
we will go to the heart of it, which is the motor.
Yep.
So on this one, you have your fork is going to be a Fox Performance Elite. This is the Float 3.8.
Right.
It has an Evol, which is extra volume, and the Grip X dampener on there. Again, 160 millimeters of travel. And while you're looking down there, Thomas, look at that rotor. 220 millimeter rotor on that 4-piston SRAM brake. So you should be getting a ton of power out of that. 220 millimeter rotor, it's huge. On the back, you're going to get a 200 millimeter rotor because most of your stopping power is in the front. So no biggie, it's still a huge rotor for the back.
Yeah.
But again, I think they've changed the design on the rotor for this year.
No, it looks sharp.
And that thing is cool looking.
Yeah.
It
really
also
looks sharp.
feels a little more, it doesn't feel as flexy as other ones to me. It feels very rigid, and I like that. And I think that looks cool. I think SRAM's doing some cool stuff with their brakes.
No, they
right
definitely are. They definitely are. And the front suspension is pretty much dialed in exactly where I want
Okay,
it. So
good. And then, of course, we have that, which we talked about a little bit. I'm still not used to them, but I'm glad that it's working for you.
Yeah, no.
I think it's a little unsightly, but form over function, hopefully every time. Not in my case, though.
Yeah, you like a white saddle with white shoes, my friend. Dwight and his fancy
That's
shoes.
true. So while you're up there as well, it's important to know that this bike has a 29-inch front wheel, 27.5-inch rear wheel. It is what we call a mullet. And again, they do these things in the bike industry that I don't know if I took the Pepsi challenge and I went out on a 29.29 or a 27.5.
I actually haven't noticed the difference.
Would I feel a difference? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, aluminum wheels on this guy would have been nice. I think they could have put maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit lower end carbon wheel for the price of this bike.
I'm gonna bitch about it because for the price, I should have got friggin' the line 30s on this thing.
Maybe that is certainly. You have a point.
Yeah.
You have a point. So tubeless out of the box, and then I am curious what you think about these tires. I've never ridden these tires.
You know what? They're not bad.
These are the well, what are these? The Brevard. I used to like it when it was XR2, XR1, XR3, XR4 because I understood. So now we got the Brevard. I think it's more in line with the XR4, maybe close to XR5 if you're used to those numbers. But again, I haven't ridden this, so tell me what you think.
They're okay. I will tell you this, that, you know, when I get back from Flagstaff, because I don't think you guys are going to have time to change them out before I leave, I will go back to the Maxxis, and I'll do an Ardent. I'll do a 2.4 in the rear and a 2.6 up front. Okay. So, and go back to the way I ride Esmeralda.
Yep. I can tell you've been shredding up these knobs, man.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
These side knobs are ripping off. The bike's brand.
You know, it's funny. You guys sit there, and I've had some people comment, hey, it's great that you get a chance to ride all these different bikes and stuff like that. Guys, when I get these bikes, they don't sit in the garage to look pretty. I beat the piss out of them. Now,
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, you know, and it's just one of those things. So combined, each one may not have a whole lot of miles, but if you combined all the miles, because I'm constantly riding each one, you know, I ride a lot.
Yep.
So
while we're back here, the rear hub is a rapid drive hub. However, I'm uncertain whether it comes with the 108 in there or not. So we're going to pop this thing open later on today. Make sure we have a full complement of Pauls in there before you go to Flagstaff.
Yep. And when I come to pick the bikes up later on today, when I'm done with my errands, I will let you guys know. We'll do a quick short, and Brandon can give you the skinny on that.
Good. Hopefully they're in there. I think they should be in there, but I don't know. That might be one of those things that Trek does. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the motor of the bike. She's in there somewhere.
Right.
Bosch, brand new gen. This one is the Performance Line CX. 85 Newton meters, but it is bump upable.
Fully adjustable with
to
the flow
100 Newton meter if you wish.
Yeah.
So she's in there. Again, you mentioned the Flow app. Get the Flow app because that'll also allow you to do all your upgrades over the air.
Yep.
So you don't have to come in. You can do it your damn self, as we like to say.
That's right.
So there's your motor. 85 Newton meter stock, 100 Newton meter bump upable.
Right.
What else about this motor? As you mentioned, it's so a lot smoother. It's a lot quieter than last generation CX Performance Line. So bravo to that. Good job. I think every year these motors are going to get more quiet and better every year. 800 watt battery is in here.
Is it 800 or 825?
I thought it was 800.
I'll put it down. Yep, we're going to have something down there. Yeah, exactly.
So I believe it's an 800. Of course, the rib is in there, like we mentioned before, with the new system. And coming up to your control panel.
The fact that it's completely integrated.
I like that it's on there. I think, again, that your EXE is a little bit nicer because that thing is really flush.
Yep.
And it has a lot more information. But this one is the BRC 3100 Smart System by Bosch. It's very clean. I guess the way I am these days, I don't like computers and stuff and a lot of information. However, if I am to use your little discrete remote here and show your modes,
it's just enough for what you need.
I guess unless I didn't scroll through, I wouldn't know which mode I was in. I don't know the difference between blue and purple unless I know I started at red when blue, purple, that the assist is going up. And again, the assist is up to 20 miles an hour on this bike.
So green is eco. This is touring. This is what we call eMBT mode, the purple. So this is your all-purpose, don't have to worry about anything, supposed to be the most efficient mode to be in. And this is, I've given her all she's got, Copton, warp 9.82 million.
It is a 9.8.
Yeah, so.
But then this also will scroll through it if you wish as well, right? So yeah, you can go.
Don't even need the chingus.
Okay. And then again, your battery life. They're blue now. This one will fade to white and disappear, fade to white, disappear, so on and so forth.
Yep.
But if you got the app,
really well.
Will the app give you percentage or miles? And then you probably have your app.
And we're going to do a full tutorial on the Bosch Flow app at the garage at the house, the GOA studio, as I like to call it, the Bat Cave. And we'll go over everything, how to register your bike, all the different things you can do with it and everything. It's very easy, and I will give Bosch credit. It's actually very intuitive.
Good.
So I like that. So.
All right, cool. What else are we thinking about here? Line dropper, of course, on here. One thing that I failed to mention on this frame is they gave you a straighter shot all the way down to the bottom bracket, so that now you can have different size posts and have more versatility in the post size. They gave you a decent line dropper post on there, and they gave you a lackluster saddle on there.
I would have liked the saddle that's on the Fuel EXE to be on this bike.
That one's rad.
Yeah, and for the price that, again, for this bike, I would have expected something like that.
That one for sure.
So,
what am I forgetting?
I don't know if there's anything you're forgetting, Brandon. We pretty much.
I don't think we
I think we covered everything. So.
Well, it'd be a good opportunity for people to
ask questions.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to transition back to the regular part.
Do I have to clap?
What's that?
Do I have to clap?
Of course you do.
All right.
Come on, do something. Do a dance.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. The magic of Hollywood and editing. We're back. So I'm pretty sure Brandon covered everything. I added my 2 cents.
Sure, I forgot something. There's always something.
There always is. Added my 2 cents in.
One last thing.
Oh. There we go.
You can put that Bosch Connect box on here, but if you choose to do that, you have to. You won't be able to use the armor. So Bosch Connect is available on here for extra security.
Yep.
You won't be able to use your armor.
There you go.
Rest my
Yep.
case. The jury rests or something.
You rest your case?
I rest my case.
Prosecution rest? Yep. Okay, there you go. Prosecution rest. Now, if we did forget to mention something, or if there's a specific question that you have, please ask it down below. We will get to your questions usually within a day's time, but if I'm traveling, sometimes it'll take a little bit longer. And if it's a very specific question that I need to confer with Brandon, I got to message him and say, hey, here's the question, and then he's got to get back to me. So sometimes there's a bit of a delay, but we will answer the question most importantly. So, Brandon, before we go, anything you want to add?
Nope, I did it already.
You did it already?
Yep.
Okay, about the armor. Guys, we talk about a lot of guys and gals. We talk a lot about bikes here. About a lot of bikes here. From what we refer to as entry level to definitely a high-end bike, a tier 1 bike. Now, everything in between. Do you need this tier 1 bike? Absolutely not. I have just a regular Fuel EX at home. I say regular, it's a 9.9, but it's a Fuel EX. I had the Marlin. You know, again, I did a butt ton of upgrades that I didn't necessarily need. I rode it without all those upgrades first and then put the upgrades on there just to let you guys know what it was like before and after. We don't want you guys to feel that we're alienating anyone, okay? Whether you're just starting out or whether you're like Brandon and I have been riding for years and you just have a lot of different bikes. It's what we do. It's going to be the case. I do photography for a living, a photojournalist. You would expect me to have a lot of different gear. So just keep that in mind. We're not singling one group out over the other. This is a community, okay? And it's made up of a lot of different riders, a lot of different people like you, like me, like Brandon, and that's what makes it so great. So on that note, my friends, like, subscribe, bell notification icon helps out the channel, helps out the video. It's the trifecta we love so much here at Get Out Arizona. There's going to be some links down below. Trek Bicycle Stores of West Phoenix is the most important link out of all of them. Follow that link. If you have any questions for Brandon and his team, you can call. If you're local, you can come down here. But I urge you, beseech you, to take care of the guys and gals who take care of me. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the devil's work. But we need it for Get Out Arizona, all right? Because we do group rides, group hikes, group photo trips. It's all kinds of fun. Again, community. So show us some love there. Keep your eyes open and come out with us and have a great time. I always tell people we ride the party pace, okay? We're out there to have a good time. You don't need anything special, just a good attitude and the willingness to have Goonie-like adventures. So there's that. The link to our Amazon store is also down below. You don't have to purchase anything from our Amazon store per se, but if you follow that link before you make an Amazon purchase, we receive a small commission, and it helps out with park pass money, gas money, and coffee money, the other trifecta we love so much here at Get Out Arizona. So it's a win-win for everybody, my friends. You get to help us, you get some rad stuff from Amazon. I don't know, does Amazon have rad stuff still? I get my coffee from there.
Oh, Amazon?
Yeah, it's decaf. It's a dirty lie.
I think I bought some refrigerator filters. Those are pretty rad.
Okay. All right, my friends, I love you to death. And before we actually say goodbye, what do we always say? Seriously, you know this. Be kind to yourself and others. Be amazing stewards out on that trail. Remember, we're teachers. We're ambassadors of our activity, yeah? And I have to ask, what are you waiting for?
Get Out Arizona.
Gosh darn right, my friends. We will see you on that next adventure. Brandon, I'll see you next week.
You sure will.
Actually, that's a lie. We're going to set another bike up and do another video, guys. We will talk to you later.
That's behind the scenes, man.
Behind the scenes.